silent crisis is unfolding in the joints of millions of older Americans. According to the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, it's a staggering reality. More than half of all adults age 65 and older in the United States report being diagnosed with some form of arthritis. That's not a small number. It means that for the majority of us, waking up with stiff, aching joints is the new normal. But this isn't just about a little morning pain. The CDC also confirms that arthritis is a leading cause of disability, stealing the one thing we value most as we age: our independence. It's the fear of not being able to climb the stairs, of not being able to open a jar, of not being able to get out of a chair without help. And what if I told you that some of the very foods you've been told are healthy your entire life? The fruits sitting in your kitchen right now could be secretly pouring gasoline on that inflammatory fire. What you're about to hear is a critical health briefing, especially for anyone over the age of 60. Because the rules of nutrition, the advice we all grew up with, can change dramatically as our bodies age. Our metabolism slows, our ability to process sugar changes, and our baseline level of inflammation can rise. This means a fruit that was perfectly fine for you at 30 could become a metabolic concern at 70. The link between diet and arthritis is no longer a fringe theory. It's a field of intense scientific study. And the evidence is pointing to a shocking conclusion. Certain fruits, often praised for their vitamins, contain compounds or sugar loads that may trigger the very inflammatory pathways that cause our joints to swell, ache, and break down. This isn't just a joint problem. Research from the CDC shows that arthritis is a devastating partner to other chronic diseases. About half of seniors with heart disease, diabetes, and even dementia also suffer from arthritis, making every single day a battle on two fronts. The constant pain of arthritis makes managing every other condition exponentially harder. But here's the crucial part. It also works in reverse. Gaining control over the inflammation in your joints can have a positive ripple effect across your entire body. A quick note, this video is for educational purposes only and is not a substitute for professional medical advice. Always consult your doctor before making changes to your health regimen. In this video, we are going to cut through the confusion. We will expose the 5 worst fruits that studies suggest may be aggravating your joint pain, and we will reveal the 5 best fruits that research indicates can actively soothe it. We'll dive into the science, explaining exactly how these fruits impact your body on a cellular level. And I urge you to stay with me until the very end, because the number 1 fruit on our best list is a true game changer. It's a fruit whose powerful anti-inflammatory compounds have been compared by some researchers to the effects of non-steroidal anti-inflammatory drugs, or NSAIDs. You are not powerless in this fight. The choices you make in your kitchen, starting today, can be the most powerful medicine of all. Before we dive into the danger list, I want to hear from you. What's the one fruit you rely on most often? The one you eat almost every single day? Let me know in the comments below. I read every single one. All right, let's begin with the 5 fruits you should strongly consider avoiding or limiting if you struggle with joint pain. We're counting down from number 5 to the single most dangerous fruit for many seniors. Coming in at number 5 on our worst list, dried fruits. This one is tricky because it wears a health halo. We see bags of raisins, dried apricots, or dates and think we're choosing a virtuous, fiber-rich snack. It feels so much healthier than reaching for a cookie. But here's the metabolic trap, especially after 60. The process of dehydration, of removing the water from the fruit, does one thing with brutal efficiency. It concentrates the sugar. A small box of raisins can have as much sugar as a can of soda. This super concentrated dose of sugar, particularly fructose, hits your system hard and fast. According to the Arthritis Foundation, processed sugars like these trigger the release of inflammatory messengers in the body called cytokines. Think of cytokines as tiny alarm bells for your immune system. A little sugar might ring a few alarms, but a flood of concentrated sugar from dried fruit sounds a full-scale siren, putting your body on high alert and dialing up inflammation in your already sensitive joints. Let's consider a real-life scenario. Take Linda, 69, from Ohio. She was trying to eat healthier, so she swaps her afternoon crackers for a handful of dried apricots and raisins. She thought she was doing her body a favor, but she couldn't understand why her morning stiffness was getting worse, why her knuckles felt more swollen than ever. The culprit was the hidden sugar bomb in her healthy snack, consistently triggering a low-grade inflammatory response. The better swap, instead of dried fruit, opt for a small handful of fresh berries. You get the fiber and nutrients, but with all the water intact, which slows down sugar absorption and provides a much gentler metabolic experience. The bottom line is this: while a few dried fruits here and there won't hurt, relying on them as a daily snack is a potential risk for anyone battling arthritis. Don't be fooled by the health halo. It's the concentrated sugar that poses the silent danger. Next, at number 4 on our worst list, are high glycemic tropical fruits, with a specific focus on mango. Now, mangoes are delicious, packed with vitamins A and C, and for many people, they are a perfectly healthy choice. But for a senior with arthritis, there's a specific metabolic concern we need to address: the glycemic index. The glycemic index, or GI, is a measure of how quickly a food causes our blood sugar to rise. Ripe mangoes have a moderate to high GI, typically scoring between 51 and 60. The riper the mango, the higher the GI. This means the sugar from a ripe mango is absorbed into your bloodstream very quickly, causing a rapid spike in blood sugar and insulin. Why is this a problem for your joints? This is where we need to talk about a deeply damaging process that happens inside your body. It involves something called advanced glycation end products, or AGEs for short. According to research highlighted by the Arthritis Foundation, high glycemic foods fuel the production of these damaging AGEs. Here's the simplest way to understand it. Think of what happens when you toast a piece of bread or grill a piece of meat. It browns. That browning is a form of glycation. AGEs are what happens when excess sugar molecules in your bloodstream attach themselves to proteins, like the collagen and elastin that make up your cartilage and connective tissues. This process essentially caramelizes your tissues on a microscopic level, making them stiff, brittle, and highly prone to damage and inflammation. It's like your joints are slowly rusting from the inside out. Consider George, 74, from Arizona. He loves starting his day with a large mango smoothie. It was his tropical treat. But his knee pain, which his doctor diagnosed as osteoarthritis, was becoming unbearable. He was doing his stretches. He was taking his supplements, but the pain persisted. The problem was the daily high glycemic spike from his smoothie, which was fueling the production of these joint-stiffening AGEs. A better swap for George was to use half an avocado in his smoothie for that creamy texture, along with a handful of low-glycemic berries. He still got a delicious smoothie, but without the inflammatory sugar rush. The bottom line, for tropical fruits like ripe mango or even overly ripe bananas, moderation is key. It's not just the amount of sugar, but the speed at which it hits your system and its potential to create those damaging, joint-aging compounds. Coming in at number 3 is a pantry staple that for decades has been seen as a symbol of convenience: canned fruits in heavy syrup. Let's be perfectly clear. The fruit in that can is not the problem. The problem is the thick, sugary liquid it's drowning in. That heavy syrup is almost always pure high fructose corn syrup, or HFCS. A single 1-cup serving of fruit cocktail in heavy syrup can pack nearly 20 grams of added sugar, which is about 5 teaspoons. This isn't just empty calories. It's a direct assault on your body's inflammatory controls. And the science on this is becoming terrifyingly clear. A 2022 study published in the journal International Immunopharmacology found that HFCS promotes pro-inflammatory responses through a key signaling pathway known as NF-kappa B. Think of NF-kappa B as a master switch for inflammation in your body. HFCS flips that switch to the on position. But the damage goes even deeper, right into your gut. A 2023 study in the Journal of Nutritional Biochemistry revealed that HFCS can cause inflammatory injury by altering your gut microbiota, the delicate ecosystem of bacteria in your digestive tract. It feeds the bad bacteria, which then damage the lining of your intestines. This creates a condition known as leaky gut, where inflammatory compounds escape from your gut, enter your bloodstream, and travel throughout your body, creating systemic inflammation that inevitably settles in your vulnerable joints. This is the gut-joint axis in action. It's no surprise, then, that a study in nutrition and metabolism found that consuming HFCS-sweetened beverages was significantly associated with a higher prevalence of arthritis. Think of Robert, 78, from Florida. He loved a bowl of canned peaches and syrup before bed. He thought of it as a simple, old-fashioned dessert. Yet he was plagued by body-wide aches and pains that his doctor couldn't pinpoint. A constant, low-grade inflammation that left him feeling exhausted. The nightly dose of HFCS was turning his gut into an inflammation factory. The better swap is simple. If you buy canned fruit, make sure the label says in 100% juice or no sugar added. Even better, choose frozen fruits, which are picked at peak ripeness and have no additives. The bottom line, fruit in heavy syrup is a Trojan horse. It looks like fruit, but it's really a delivery system for one of the most inflammatory ingredients on the market. At number 2 on our list, we have a fruit that is often seen as a healthy, easy snack. Grapes. This one often surprises people because grapes do contain antioxidants, like resveratrol. However, for someone with arthritis, the benefits can be completely overwhelmed by one simple fact: their incredibly high sugar content. Of all the common fruits, grapes are one of the most sugar-dense. A 100-gram serving of grapes contains about 16 grams of sugar. For comparison, the same amount of blueberries has just under 10 grams. That might not sound like a huge difference, but it's the way we eat grapes that creates the problem. They are small, sweet, and easy to eat mindlessly. A large bunch of grapes, which many of us could eat in one sitting while watching television, can deliver a massive sugar load to the body. And as we've already established, that sugar triggers the release of those inflammatory cytokines. Think of Susan, 71, from California. She kept a big bowl of fresh grapes on her counter and would snack on them throughout the day. She thought she was making a great choice, but she noticed a pattern. On days she ate a lot of grapes, her hands would feel puffy and her joints would ache more by the evening. She was inadvertently creating inflammatory spikes with each handful. Her body simply couldn't handle that much sugar at once, and her joints were paying the price. The better swap is about portion control and conscious choice. Instead of a big bunch of grapes, have a small measured bowl of lower sugar berries. Or choose a single apple, which has more fiber to slow down the sugar absorption. The bottom line on grapes is that it's a numbers game. For an aging body that is already prone to inflammation, the high, rapidly absorbed sugar content in a typical serving of grapes can simply be too much, turning a seemingly healthy snack into a trigger for pain. And now for the number 1 worst fruit for seniors with arthritis. This one is the most critical on the list, not because of inflammation, but because it can create a silent, life-threatening danger inside your body. The number one fruit to avoid is grapefruit. For decades, grapefruit has been the poster child for a healthy breakfast. But for millions of seniors on common, life-saving medications, it can be incredibly hazardous. Here's why. Your gut and liver contain a critical enzyme called CYP3A4. This enzyme is like a tiny cleanup crew, responsible for breaking down and metabolizing over 85 different common medications, including many statins for cholesterol, calcium channel blockers for high blood pressure, and some blood thinners. Grapefruit contains a class of chemicals called furanocoumarins. These chemicals do something very specific and very dangerous. They find that CYP3A4 enzyme and they destroy it. A 2013 review in the Canadian Medical Association Journal confirmed that this process is irreversible. The enzyme is not just blocked, it's inactivated permanently. Your body has to make brand new enzymes to replace the ones the grapefruit destroyed. And here's the most important part. The effect of drinking a single glass of grapefruit juice can last for up to 3 days. This means the common sense idea of just taking your pill a few hours after eating grapefruit is completely wrong and dangerously ineffective. For up to 72 hours, your body's ability to break down your medication is severely compromised. The drug builds up in your bloodstream to potentially toxic levels. For someone on a statin like simvastatin or atorvastatin, this can lead to a condition called rhabdomyolysis, a severe breakdown of muscle tissue that can cause kidney failure. For someone on a blood pressure medication like nifedipine, it can cause a sudden, dangerous drop in blood pressure. Consider David, an 80-year-old veteran on both a statin and a blood pressure pill. He ate half a grapefruit every morning, just like he had for 50 years. He started experiencing profound muscle weakness and pain. And one day, he felt so dizzy, he collapsed. At the hospital, doctors found dangerously high levels of his medications in his blood. The culprit was his healthy breakfast. The better swap is simple. Choose an orange, a tangerine, or a handful of berries instead. The bottom line is non-negotiable. If you are taking any prescription medication, but especially statins, blood pressure drugs, or blood thinners, you must talk to your doctor or pharmacist about grapefruit. For many seniors, it is a silent danger that must be completely removed from the diet. Okay, let's take a breath. We've just covered some very serious information. We've talked about how concentrated sugars in dried fruits and high glycemic fruits can fuel the production of inflammatory cytokines and joint-stiffening AGEs. We've uncovered how high fructose corn syrup in canned fruits can disrupt your gut and turn it into an inflammation factory. And we've issued a critical warning about the metabolic danger of grapefruit for anyone on common medications. It can feel overwhelming, but I want you to feel the exact opposite. You should feel empowered, because knowledge is power, and you now understand the hidden risks. You are no longer in the dark. Now we pivot. We turn from the problem to the solution. Because just as certain fruits can aggravate pain, others are packed with powerful natural compounds that science is showing can soothe, protect, and heal. The right choices can be a form of medicine, and we're about to build your new joint-friendly fruit pharmacy. But first, let's clear up one of the biggest myths in the world of arthritis nutrition. It's a quick pattern interrupt to reset your attention. You have probably heard that you should avoid nightshade vegetables and fruits. Things like tomatoes, bell peppers, and eggplant. The theory, which has been around for decades, is that these foods contain a compound called solanine that causes arthritis flares. Let me be direct. According to major health institutions like the Cleveland Clinic and the Arthritis Foundation, there is virtually no scientific evidence to support this claim. In fact, the opposite may be true. The idea is largely based on anecdotal reports and outdated theories. The real issue is often what these foods are served with. When you eat tomatoes on a pizza, the inflammation is more likely coming from the refined white flour in the crust and the saturated fat in the cheese, not the tomato itself. The real issue is often what these foods are served with. When you eat tomatoes on a pizza, the inflammation is more likely coming from the refined white flour in the crust and the saturated fat in the cheese, not the tomato itself. And here's the crucial part. By avoiding these foods, you could be missing out on powerful anti-inflammatory benefits. Tomatoes are one of our best sources of lycopene, a potent antioxidant. Bell peppers are loaded with vitamin C, and as one registered dietitian living with rheumatoid arthritis noted in an article from Arthritis Canada, the capsaicin in peppers has been found to have anti-inflammatory effects. So we are officially busting this myth. Don't fear the nightshades. Instead, focus on the real, science-backed dietary triggers we've already discussed. Now let's get to the good news. The 5 best fruits to add to your diet to help soothe joint pain. We'll count down from 5 to 1. Coming in at number 5 on our best list is a summertime favorite, watermelon. Beyond being incredibly hydrating, which is essential for joint lubrication, watermelon is one of nature's richest sources of a powerful antioxidant called lycopene. This is the pigment that gives watermelon its rich red color. While tomatoes are famous for lycopene, some research suggests the lycopene from watermelon may be even more bioavailable. But how does this help your joints? A fascinating 2014 study published in the International Journal of Food Science and Technology looked at the specific anti-inflammatory mechanism of watermelon lycopene. They found that it could dose-dependently inhibit the expression of 2 key inflammatory enzymes in the body, iNOS and COX-2. These are the very same pathways that many anti-inflammatory drugs are designed to target. By helping to block the production of these inflammatory compounds at a cellular level, the lycopene in watermelon can act as a natural, gentle brake on the inflammatory process. Think of Brenda, 67, from Georgia. During the hot summer months, she started having a fresh slice of watermelon as her afternoon snack. She noticed that by the end of the summer, the persistent swelling she usually had in her ankles seemed to be much less pronounced. She felt lighter on her feet. A simple way to integrate this is to enjoy fresh watermelon as a snack or dessert. Try to eat the actual fruit rather than just drinking the juice, as the fiber in the fruit helps to moderate the absorption of its natural sugars. At number 4 on our best list is a truly unique fruit, avocado. Yes, it's technically a fruit, and it offers a powerful 3-pronged attack against joint pain. First, unlike most fruits, avocados are packed with healthy monounsaturated fats. These fats are profoundly anti-inflammatory. Second, avocados are a good source of vitamin E, a micronutrient that WebMD notes has anti-inflammatory effects and can help lower inflammation throughout the body. But the third benefit is what makes avocado a true all-star for anyone over 60. It's rich in vitamin K. Vitamin K is absolutely essential for bone health. It helps slow bone loss and may help ward off osteoporosis, a condition that weakens bones and often exists alongside osteoarthritis. So avocado doesn't just address the inflammation in the soft tissues of the joint. It also provides a key nutrient to support the strength and integrity of the bones themselves. It's a holistic approach in a single food. Consider Michael, 75, a retired teacher. He swapped out the butter on his morning toast for a quarter of a mashed avocado. Over a few months, he felt that his hips, which had always felt unstable and achy, seemed stronger and more resilient. The easiest way to integrate avocado is to add it to salads, blend it into smoothies for a creamy texture without the sugar, or use it as a healthy spread on whole grain toast. Our number 3 best fruit is another tropical delight, But this one contains a secret weapon: pineapple. The power of pineapple doesn't come from its vitamins, but from a unique enzyme mixture found primarily in its stem and core, called bromelain. Bromelain is a proteolytic enzyme, meaning it helps break down proteins. But its therapeutic effects are what make it so remarkable for arthritis. A comprehensive 2021 review of studies confirmed that bromelain possesses significant anti-inflammatory and analgesic, meaning pain-relieving, properties. In fact, the review noted that because bromelain can significantly decrease pain and stiffness in patients with osteoarthritis, it has been used as a food supplement alternative to non-steroidal anti-inflammatory drugs, or NSAIDs. How does it work? Research from 2022 shows that bromelain can help downregulate major inflammatory signaling pathways, including the NF-kappa B pathway we talked about earlier. It essentially helps to turn down the volume on your body's inflammatory alarms. Imagine Nancy, 70, who suffered from painful arthritis in her hands, making it difficult to knit, her favorite hobby. She was wary of taking too many over-the-counter pain relievers because of the potential side effects. After reading about bromelain, she started adding chunks of fresh pineapple, including the tougher core, to her morning yogurt. After several weeks, she noticed the ache in her knuckles was less intense, and she could knit for longer periods without pain. To get the most benefit, try to eat some of the tough, fibrous core of the pineapple, as this is where the bromelain is most concentrated. Adding fresh pineapple to your diet is a delicious way to access the power of this natural anti-inflammatory compound. At number 2, we have a whole family of nutritional powerhouses: berries. This includes strawberries, blueberries, raspberries, and blackberries. Their secret lies in their deep, rich colors. Those vibrant reds, blues, and purples come from a class of antioxidants called anthocyanins, and these compounds are emerging as true champions of joint health. The science here is twofold. First, they work on a systemic level. A study highlighted by the Arthritis Foundation found that women who ate 16 or more strawberries a week had lower levels of C-reactive protein, or CRP, a key marker of body-wide inflammation. But the second mechanism is even more exciting. A 2024 scoping review published in the journal Nutrients summarized the evidence and concluded that anthocyanins are potential chondroprotective agents. Chondroprotective means cartilage protecting. The research suggests that these compounds can enter the joint tissues and directly suppress inflammatory signaling, like the NF-kappa B pathway within the cartilage cells themselves. This is a profound shift. It means berries might not just be helping to manage the symptoms of inflammation, they may be helping to protect the very structure of your cartilage from inflammatory damage. This is moving from simple relief to active preservation. Think of Frank, 72, who had a sweet tooth and would often have a bowl of ice cream after dinner. He made a simple swap: a bowl of mixed frozen berries, slightly thawed. Not only did he cut out a huge source of inflammatory sugar, but he flooded his body with these chondroprotective anthocyanins. The result? He found it was noticeably easier to get out of bed in the morning, with less of the familiar stiffness in his back and knees. The best part is that both fresh and frozen berries are packed with these compounds, making them an easy and accessible addition to your diet year-round. And now, the #1 best fruit for soothing arthritis pain. The one we promised at the very beginning. The fruit that contains compounds so potent their anti-inflammatory action has been directly studied in human clinical trials and compared to that of NSAIDs. The #1 fruit is tart cherries. While sweet cherries are good, tart cherries, particularly the Montmorency variety, are in a league of their own. They are packed with a specific and powerful type of anthocyanin that has been the subject of intense research. The most compelling evidence comes from a 2013 randomized, double-blind, placebo-controlled crossover study, the gold standard of clinical research, conducted on patients with mild to moderate knee osteoarthritis. The results were remarkable. The group drinking tart cherry juice saw a significant decrease in their WOMAC scores, a standard measure of arthritis pain, stiffness, and physical function. But here's the objective proof. They also saw a significant decline in high-sensitivity C-reactive protein, that key blood marker for inflammation, an effect that was not seen in the placebo group. A 2019 study on older adults further confirmed that 12 weeks of tart cherry juice consumption significantly lowered CRP levels. This isn't just theory. It's documented clinical evidence of a food having a measurable anti-inflammatory effect in people with arthritis. Consider Mary, 68, from Florida. Her knee pain was preventing her from taking her daily walks. She was skeptical about food as medicine, but her daughter convinced her to try drinking a small glass of pure, unsweetened tart cherry juice each day. After about a month, she was stunned. The sharp pain in her knee had subsided to a dull ache. She could walk to her mailbox and back without wincing. It wasn't a miracle cure, but it was a real, tangible improvement in her quality of life. You can find tart cherries frozen or as 100% pure unsweetened juice. It's a simple, research-backed tool you can add to your arsenal in the fight against joint pain. So what is the ultimate takeaway from all of this? It's the profound realization that your fork is one of the most powerful tools you have for managing your joint health. On one side, you have fruits that, due to their high concentration of sugar, their processing in HFCS, or their unique metabolic interactions, can fuel the very fires of inflammation, creating cytokines and AGEs that stiffen and damage your joints. On the other side, you have fruits that are loaded with specific powerful compounds, lycopene, bromelain, and especially anthocyanins, that research suggests can actively block those inflammatory pathways, cool the fire, and even help protect your cartilage. Aging well is not about luck. It's about choices. It's about understanding that your body at 70 is different than it was at 30, and it needs a different kind of care. You have the knowledge now. You are in the driver's seat. The choice is yours. Do one thing today. Go to your kitchen, and if you find one of the harmful items on our worst list, consider replacing it with one of the healing options from our best list. That one small action is a powerful step toward taking back control. I have one final question for you. Of all the fruits on our best list, which one are you most surprised or excited to add to your diet? Let me know in the comments section below. Your journey and your experiences can inspire others in this community. If you found this information valuable, please give this video a like and subscribe to our channel for more research-backed health guidance for your best years. Stay strong, and I'll see you in the next video.